Testing. Good morning. Welcome to this Unitarian Universalist Church, which serves our congregations here in Birmingham, in Tuscaloosa, and all of our folks online. Whoever you are, whoever you love, wherever you are today, and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. To all who are here this morning, welcome home. The prelude prepares us for worship.
As we lift our voices on this day, many hearts are heavy with despair. How can our lifted voices find a way to bring us one step closer to repair? If a wounded world we wish to heal, we must sing no ordinary song. Make it a cadence relevant and real, its every measure purposeful and strong. Let this song our greatest hopes contain. Well-fed children be its just refrain. Roofs over every heartbeat be its tune. Its harmony from peaceful cities hewn. Sing of hope while hammering each nail. Sing of joy while pulling every weed. Sing to renew a covenant gone frail. May every alleluia plant a seed. May every alleluia plant a seed.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And now please rise in body or in spirit for the lighting of our chalice. Come, you accidental pilgrims, you who find yourself on a journey of surprise and wonder. Come, you who seek a life of mindfulness and a place to test your thoughts. Come, you who bring hearts of all kinds, heavy hearts, rusty hearts, hearts broken open, hearts full of love to share. Come, you who seek courage and who have more courage than you realize. Come, you who have been in a bubble and who are poised for transformation. We begin our story again, gathering courage, love, mindfulness, and a sense of purpose today. We gather as people of all ages, of different abilities, backgrounds, and perspectives. We share our covenant, a direction for our shared journey, a commitment to encourage and challenge one another in our spiritual growth. This path will ask much from us. Let us move forward with love, with appreciation for one another, and with a sense of knowing that you are not alone. Whoever you are, whatever your gifts, you are welcome to join this journey. And now, in the spirit of inclusivity, we'll take just a few moments to greet the people around you. And folks online, please introduce yourself in our chat.
Well, hello, Phil. How are you? No, not at all. Okay. Oh, cool. Yeah, please do. Send it my way. Please rise and body your spirit for our opening hymn, number 361 in your hardcover hymnal, number 361. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Good morning. As the late John Lewis once said, the vote is precious, it's almost sacred. It's the most powerful nonviolent tool we have in a democracy. Today, after the service, the Justice Committee invites you to join us in the narthex to fill out a few postcards, one or a few, as many as you would like, in an effort to communicate with our Alabama citizens in the newly created District 2 in South Alabama, U.S. House District. We are encouraging get out the vote, and we want to remind everybody how important the vote is and how much we hope they participate. So please join us after the service if you're able. Thank you so much.
Good morning. I am Kylie Kerr, a member of the board. Our church is supported by those who call our church home and by those who support the efforts of our church to change our world for the better. If this is your first time here with us, please pass the plate. We are just so glad that you're here with us. We share our cash plate every Sunday with organizations whose work reflects UU values to care for marginalized persons, advocate for real and systemic change, defend our environment, and promote justice and equity for all. Today, we are sharing our plate with UU the Vote. UU the Vote is an initiative of the UU Association's Side with Love team, providing UUs with thoughtfully crafted voter engagement opportunities. Your UU Justice Committee has participated in phone banking and voter outreach through UU Vote over the years. UU the Vote supports congregations and UU organizations in activating thousands of UUs to mobilize voters, counter voter suppression, and engage in spiritually grounded, values-based issue conversations with voters and communities. This is a grassroots campaign that relies on grassroots support. We appreciate your donations, either by placing them in the plate, by mailing your donation to the church, or by using PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle. More information is found in the order of service in the lower right-hand corner. Thank you for your generous support of our church and our Share the Plate recipient. May we give in love and in hope.
Thank you, Ewan. I'm like shaking. Okay. Whew, everything's fine. Now is that time in our community where collectively we acknowledge what's on our hearts today. So folks online, please feel free to use the chat section to share your joys and sorrows with each other. And then for those of you in person today, you are now invited to come forward and drop a stone in our water vase in honor of what is on your heart and your mind today. Please come forward.
Today we lift up especially the families and friends of those killed in yet another school shooting. May we keep one another in our hearts and minds in the spirit of community and love. Please join me in the spirit of prayer and meditation, followed by a moment of silence. Our meditation this week is by George E. Odell. We need one another when we mourn and want comfort. We need one another when we are in trouble and are afraid. We need one another when we are in despair, in temptation, and need to be recalled to our best selves again. We need one another when we strive to accomplish some great purpose and realize we cannot do it alone. We need one another in the hour of success when we look for someone to share triumphs. We need one another in the hour of defeat when with encouragement we try to endure and stand again. We need one another when we come to die and seek gentle hands to prepare us for the journey. All our lives we are in need, and others are in need of us. Let us take a moment of silence. Amen, and blessed be.
I turned it off.
Never mind, it wasn't you, Forrest. Sorry. Forrest is like jumping to do something back there, and it wasn't even Forrest. It was me. Good morning. Ooh, y'all, very nice. Well, before I start my story, I wanted to do a little pre-announcement. I think I have a friend that may be doing an announcement a little later. But I just wanted to remind folks that our RE classes for the fall are starting up soon. And we need about 16 volunteers in order for us to have an RE program for children between the ages of 5 and high school. We have 3 volunteers. So, just gonna throw that out there, friends. We need a few more volunteers. So in order for us to have a functioning, successful RE program here at our congregation, we need some folks who are interested in hanging out with these really awesome kids. The great news is you get to come in and just have a good time. I do all the hard work for you. I get the lessons put together. I have all the supplies ready for you. And you just come in and spend time with these awesome kiddos. So if you have any interest, I believe Mr. Duxbury is going to chat about it a little later, and he can tell you all the wonders of volunteering with RE. But there's also a sign-up sheet on our welcome table if you just want some more information or have some questions and want to chat about it. So there's my little plug. And now for a story. I'd love to invite everyone who'd like to come forward, young, old. Wow, they're quiet today, y'all. Big kids, little kids, old kids, young kids, come on up. I got a good story today. This one's very relaxing. So buckle in, grown-ups. It's a nice, relaxing story today. This one's called I Am Peace. So, there are times when I worry about what might happen next and what happened before. Does anyone do that? Does anyone worry? Me too. The thoughts in my head are like rushing water, and I feel like a boat with no anchor. Sounds familiar to me. Being carried away. I give myself a moment. I take a breath, and I tell myself, it's all right. I feel the ground beneath my feet and steady myself. And I start to notice the here and now. My thoughts begin to settle. My mind begins to clear. I am peace. I can watch my worries gently pop and disappear. I let things go. I can say what I feel inside out loud. I know myself. I can share kindness with others. I make a difference. I can hug a tree and thank it for its beauty and strength. I connect to nature. I can watch the clouds make shapes against the sky. I know wonder. I don't like this microphone stand. I can taste and smell and touch and hear and see what is all around me. I just realized I can turn it this way. I'm smart. I use my senses. I can feel my breath fill my whole body. I tune into me. Now the water is still. I have found my anchor. And everything is all right. I don't need to worry about before or after. I am in this moment. I am peace. Now I share my peace with others and hope that it is carried away to those who need it. And I dream we are peace. The end. Grown-ups, if you would sing us downstairs, we're going to head outside for some community time.
Our minister, Reverend Julie, is preaching to our Tuscaloosa congregation today, so we are hearing from Mary Stevenson today. Mary is in her last year of spiritual direction study at the VENMO Institute. She has found spiritual direction to be transformative in her own life. Her interest in spiritual practices have led her to build a labyrinth, which is very cool, with her husband, Oscar. And she has frequently facilitated our labyrinth workshops. She looks forward to offering spiritual direction / spiritual companionship to UUs as part of her final school project. Please join me in giving Mary a warm welcome.
Can you hear me? Yes, okay, good. Good morning. Try to talk loud. Greetings to those of you online, and I am very grateful to Reverend Julie for the opportunity to speak to you this morning and share a little bit of my own spiritual journey, what spiritual direction is, and what it has meant to me. And additionally, I would like to tell you how you could experience spiritual direction for yourself if you're interested in participating in the final project that I'm doing as a student in the VENMO Institute Spiritual Direction Program. I'm going to tell you this next part is a little autobiographical. I'm sharing this because of how much I have loved you telling me something of your stories when you have stood in this place. Did I go out? Okay. About me. I grew up in Florence, Alabama, and graduated from the University of North Alabama with a teacher's certificate in home economics. I spent 3 years as a child welfare worker and then became a stay-at-home mom to our 4 kids. While they were growing up, I occasionally held part-time jobs as varied as substitute teaching. I was for a short time a research assistant in the Department of Public Health at UAB, and I even worked with my family as the church janitors for a while. Most recently, I have spent several years providing childcare to all 10 of the people who call me Grandma Banana. In many ways, I see myself as an unlikely UU. I was born into a Southern Baptist family. I married a Church of Christ guy in a Methodist church in a ceremony presided over by my Methodist uncle. Over our 54-year marriage, Oscar and I attended several churches of Christ, finally landing in the early 1980s in a place we were warned about, because it was considered by some to be too liberal. That was the Cahaba Valley Church of Christ. The church itself evolved over the years, becoming the Cahaba Valley Church, an ecumenical church, and then eventually just Cahaba Valley Church. I'm going to refer to it as CVC. It eventually became financially unsustainable as there were only around 20 of us in attendance, and the building maintenance expenses were too great for the small membership, which was by this time retirement age. So the building down on Caldwell Mill Road was sold to the Chinese Christian Church, and for the old CV members, there was a kind of diaspora. Members scattered on Sunday mornings to Episcopal, Baptist, Church of Christ, Lutheran, UU, or Sunday morning in the Church of Air for some people. Sometime I would love to read you that poem. It's one of my favorites. The proceeds of this from the sale of the building went to organizations like Greater Birmingham Ministries and Cahaba Valley Healthcare. CVC exists to this day as a church of around 18 people meeting monthly in each other's homes. After our last service was held in the CV sanctuary, I felt at loose ends, but also, perhaps for the first time in my life, a complete freedom to choose where I would worship. It was both scary and thrilling. Over this time of my life, which as you can see is pretty long, I have read many spiritual seekers whose words resonated deeply with me. One of them was Madeleine L'Engle. I read her book, A Wrinkle in Time. It came out in 1962, so I was 13 years old. I did not know that was a banned book in some places. Many years later, I heard her speak at a religious arts festival at Independent Presbyterian Church, and I was drawn to her strength of character, her faith, and most of all, her expansive view of God and the universe. Others included Wendell Berry, Marcus Borg, Richard Rohr, Brian McLaren, Marianne Williamson, Diana Butler Bass, Nadia Boltz-Weber, and a great many more whose experiences of God or the divine broadened my own horizons. When I think back over all the many twists and turns that have brought me to today, I see a lifelong evolution. It seems each new experience or encounter along the way served to let in just a little bit more light. And sometimes there would have to be a pause to think about that, because if all that had come at one time, I don't think it could have sunk in. I will say there was one day, it was really, really hot, and I saw in person the Dalai Lama who came to Birmingham. The sheer radiance that bathed his countenance and his laughter revealed a rare joy of the soul. Still, it was with some trepidation that we decided to visit UU. Fear can be a powerful motivator, so can courage. In my journal, I wrote of our first visit, commenting briefly on the beautiful music and the oneness I felt here. I want to share some words with you from some music that was sung by Phil McWilliams. Do any of y'all remember when he came? It's probably been 10 years. He came here and he sang a song that had these words: "Holy now. When I was a boy each week, Sunday we would go to church, pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word, consecrate the holy bread. Everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything, everything. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two and Jesus made the water wine. I remember feeling sad miracles don't happen still, but now I can't keep track because everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small. An even better magic trick is anything's here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. Holy water was rare at best. I barely wet my fingertips. Now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be the world out there was heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but now I walk it with a reverent air, because everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. In a questioning child's face, tell me it's not a sacrament. I tell you it's very hard to say. See, another morning come. Tell me it's not a testament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood and saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush and singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then, how everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Whether it could be called leading of the Spirit or some divine synchronicity in the universe, it is as if coming to this church was a factor in leading me to study spiritual direction. My mentor, and now spiritual director, asked me if I had ever considered such a study after I had for some time shared my frustration and insecurity at wanting to offer something to a few seekers crossing my path. I was puzzled at what to say when these folks poured their hearts out. I didn't know what spiritual direction was, and it even sounded a little pretentious to me. However, some further research and discussions with this kind mentor made me decide to apply, and I began my study in the spring of 2023. I'm on track to graduate in February of 2025. The people I have met, both faculty members and fellow cohort members, have touched my life with their openness, warmth, and their own sacred stories. Spiritual direction has been transformative in my life, deepening my awareness of how the Spirit both nourishes my soul and challenges me to grow in ways I could not have imagined, like, for instance, standing in this pulpit. Spiritual direction provided the driving force that led me to labyrinth walking as a spiritual practice, and then ultimately to becoming a labyrinth facilitator. And many of you know that the first labyrinth I ever walked was at the UU Mountain Retreat. See the synchronicities? You might ask, what exactly is this spiritual direction? I'm going to ask Oscar, and if Gil or somebody's available, to hand out some brochures I brought with me. If you're interested, take one. That has some basic information about spiritual direction from the organization that is Spiritual Directors International. The definition that resonates with me is spiritual direction is the practice of providing soul companionship by offering a safe place for a seeker to be heard in their life journey as it pertains to the divine. A lot of people prefer the term spiritual companion. In the Celtic tradition, a spiritual companion is anam cara. It inspires people to experience authenticity in their lives as they connect with and explore the ground of all being, that deepest of truths, which is beyond life and death, and goes by many names or no name at all. Spiritual companions are intuitive spiritual friends, accountable and compassionate. There was an article from UU World in May of 2007 that had this to say: spiritual direction is an ancient tradition that grows out of 4th century Christianity. Despite its early Christian roots, spiritual direction is a small but growing trend among UUs. According to the Reverend Jade Angelica, who is a UU minister, she is also a spiritual director and founder of the Unitarian Universalist Spiritual Directors Network. A lot of UUs are really crying out for more of a connection to the Spirit, and they don't know exactly what to ask for. There is a growing hunger for spirituality and spiritual companioning in our culture, and UUs are no exception. And by the way, there are now over 80 UU spiritual directors. Why seek spiritual direction? Well, you might come to spiritual direction for a variety of reasons like these: learning to identify and trust your own spiritual experiences, integrating spirituality into your daily life, discerning and making difficult choices, sharing your hopes, struggles, and losses, developing a sensitivity for justice and concern for the poor, living the essence of your spiritual affiliation with integrity. Well, what happens in a spiritual direction session? Before a meeting, you might be offered some topics that could be explored together. And really, the person who is doing the seeking is the person who sets whatever the conversation will be about on the day that you visit a spiritual director. It's just whatever you need to talk about. But usually a few ideas are thrown out for you to consider, like you might want to share your own spiritual autobiography, which is your own sacred story. What images from nature bring you a greater sense of God or the divine? What is the biggest spiritual challenge, desire, or goal of your life stage right now? What are your spiritual gifts? Are there spiritual practices that you would like to try? In what areas of your spiritual life would you like to grow? We usually begin each meeting lighting a candle, which I'm not going to light, but we do that even if it's an online session. And my spiritual director has these lovely hands that just speak to me of welcoming. And so I got myself some. And usually when I visit her, I like to bring some token of what is maybe on my mind. For instance, if I'm in a place of a lot of gratitude and I want to share about that, I love this little iridescent paperweight that's been sitting on my windowsill for years and years and years. Or I might right now bring a leaf, which makes me think of dealing with issues with aging, with myself, and with maybe my mom. We usually start with a period of silence, just in meditation, or the seeker may just say what it is on their mind that they want to share. Spiritual director and UU minister, the Reverend Angela Herrera, put it this way: you bring yourself before the sacred, before the holy, before what is ultimate and bigger than your lone life. You stand at the edge of mystery, at the edge of the deep. Meanwhile, the armful of worries you brought to the edge of mystery has fluttered to your feet. Earlier, I referred to Reverend Jade Angelica, and she went on to say of spiritual direction, it is a practice that can take many forms. It is a contemplative process of going on a spiritual journey into a purpose, a journey into mystery. People think it's all about your prayer life or what kind of spiritual practice you are doing, but in reality, since spirit permeates every area of our lives at every moment, spiritual direction is open to any aspect of your life. Reverend Angelica is convinced that as more UUs become aware of spiritual direction, more will be drawn toward taking that spiritual journey. She was struck by a passage by the influential Catholic theologian writer Thomas Merton, who wrote in 1960 that the early Christian desert mothers and fathers of the 4th century who practiced spiritual direction had set off on their own, and I quote, free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Says Angelica, how UU is that? For my final project at the Medagem Institute, I would like to offer spiritual direction to UUs here in Birmingham, or if you're online, I can do it by Zoom. The project consists of the overview of spiritual direction that I have given you today, as well as offering 3 private one-on-one, 1-hour spiritual direction sessions to interested people over a period of 3 months. I plan to offer the first session during September this month, with sessions in October and November to follow. These sessions can be here at the church in person or over Zoom if you prefer. Strict confidentiality is maintained, and the participants will remain anonymous in my self-reporting. The purpose is to build and enhance my skills as a spiritual director, as well as to give participants an opportunity to explore spiritual direction in their own spiritual community and free of charge, as I am still a student. I would like to start with 3 to 5 participants. If more of you sign up, I will do my best to offer you at least 2 sessions this year, also free of charge. If everybody in this room wants spiritual direction, I'll be referring you to the UU directory, and we'll try to find someone whose story matches your own so that the person you connect with, you feel like is a person you could bare your soul to. It is different from psychiatric help or psychology, so it's not that kind of therapy. This is about soul nourishment, not going to be evaluating you or anything like that, just hearing your stories. There is a flyer in the bulletin. It's on the right here. And if you're interested in either finding out more or you know that you would like to go ahead and sign up, please fill this out and give it to me or leave it in the church office. Also, after the service today, if you have more questions you want to ask, we will do a short question and answer session right here if there's interest in that, if you have more that you would like to know. And in closing, what I have to say today, I would like for you to hear these words from Robert Mabry Doss, which is number 700 in our hymnal readings. For all who see God, may God go with you. For all who embrace life, may life return your affection. For all who seek a right path, may a way be found, and the courage to take it step by step. Amen, and blessed be.
Thank you so much. Please rise, embody your spirit, and join in our closing hymn in the teal hymnal, number 1046, 1046. Shall we gather at the river where bright angel feet have trod, with its crystal tide forever flowing by the throne of God? Yes, we'll gather at the river, the beautiful river. Gather with the saints by the river that flows by the throne of God. On the margin of the river, washing up its silver spray, we will walk and worship ever all the happy golden day. Yes, we'll gather by the river, the beautiful river. Gather with the saints at the river that flows by the throne of God. Ere we'll reach the shining river, lay we every burden down. Grace our spirits will deliver and provide a robe and a crown. Yes, we'll gather by the river, the beautiful river. Gather with the saints at the river that flows by the throne of God. Soon we'll reach the shining river, soon our pilgrimage will cease, soon our happy hearts will quiver with a melody of peace. Yes, we'll gather at the river, the beautiful river. Gather with the saints at the river that flows by the throne of God.
You may be seated. I'll read through a couple quick announcements, but if you have a special announcement today, if you can just make your way to the front, and I'll give you a chance in just a second. If you are interested in the church's lay ministry program, that's our Beacon program, please indicate that on your connection card. If you are already the chair of a committee or want to be part of leading the church, please attend our leadership convening, which is a short class on September 15th after the service for a Q&A and reminders about our church leadership programs. Also on your insert today is an opportunity to sign up for Circle Mixers, and that is just an opportunity to attend a series of dinners with other people in the church, especially some you might not know as well. You'll attend 4 dinners between October and February. We have a new book club that starts on Tuesday, and it is not too late to sign up. We have copies of the book in the church office that are for purchase, and you can do cash, check, Venmo, anything to get those. Also Tuesday, we have an event in cooperation with the Alabama Holocaust Center, and you will recommend many of our participants there. Daryl Davis is one of our speakers, and you are invited to come hear his story. And then this coming Thursday, Kimberlyn Kirkland has organized a UAB Arts in Medicine event on conscious dying, and you'll also recognize many of our church friends there as well. Our next Long Living Liberals Luncheon is September 11th at noon. And then after church today, John Maddox and Lisa Hertz will be presenting on African faiths in the diaspora. And now, Heather?
As Kate mentioned, Banned books is the topic of the sermon on the 6th of October. And afterwards, we're having a grand reopening of the downstairs UU library. But there aren't that many banned and challenged books in our library yet. We have a whole section that we are dedicating to the books specifically that Clean Up Alabama wants to get rid of. Those books are all listed in the brochure. On the back of the brochure, there are a couple of independent bookstores listed, as well as bookstop.org, which shares profits with independent bookstores, and ways to donate just money if you want to do that. I can't tell you how important these books are for kids as they're growing up, and even adults. To see yourself in a book makes you feel less alone. So I hope that you will help us fill that bookshelf. If you have some of these books at home, maybe you have kids that have already gone through school, you don't know what to do with them, they're gently used, you can donate those as well. Thank you.
I'm Andrew Duxbury, and I have survived the RE program at this church for 22 years. I think that's 7 DREs, and I'm still standing. And unless there is a miracle of somewhat biblical proportions, I will never have a child in the RE program. So there is no excuse for any of you not to be an RE volunteer. Now, who do they need? Well, if you like the little bitties, they got paid staff. But we have 4 age groups that require volunteer teachers. Early elementary, kindergarten through 2nd grade, upper elementary, 3rd through 5th grade, middle school, 6th through 8th grade, and high school, 9th through 12th grade. We need 2 teachers for each of those grade levels for every Sunday that RE happens, which means they're looking for a cadre of 16. They have 3 signed up so far. You can do it. I guarantee you can do it, because the commitment is twice a month. Staying a little bit later after service for about another hour, twice a month. That's it. We go, I don't know how to do this. Well, there is a training this coming Saturday, the 14th. And if you have a football game, it will be taped. You can watch it later. These are not large classes. They're usually 5 to 8 kids. Because of our safety rules in this church, there are always 2 teachers in each class, so that there is never one adult behind a closed door with children not related. There is a sign-up sheet in the narthex that Courtney will be manning. Go see her. She loves you.
So if you are a person who utilizes a calendar on your phone, go ahead and get it out, because you're going to want to save the date. Friday, October 4th, here at the church, 6:30 p.m., we are doing a Get Out the Vote event sponsored by the Bending the Arc Project. We will be screening our updated version of Bending the Arc, the Vote. We'll have a post-film panel discussion and Q&A featuring people from the film, including Linda Lowry and Joanne Bland, who marched and were attacked during the Selma voting rights marches in the 1960s. Performing, we will have the Carlton Reese Memorial Unity Choir. So even if you're not a film person, come out for the choir. There will be a discussion on the importance of voting, obstacles to voting, and strategies for getting people registered and to the polls. There will be light refreshments afterward, and an Eventbrite sign-up sheet will be coming up soon. If you would like more information or have questions, please find me after service. Thank you. October 4th, Friday, October 4th at 6:30 here at the church.
How y'all doing? Good. I'm Jay Gregory Clark with Faith in Action, Alabama. Some of you may recall I stop by from time to time to say hello and worship with you. Today, I would like to have a conversation with you about community. Immediately following services, I'll be down in the library. We want to talk about community, some of the ways that you feel about community and how we can bring those feelings into fruition, all right? So please put your head into the library right after service. Let's have a conversation about community. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. And now I will extinguish our chalice with these words. Let us carry our flame forward as we extinguish our chalice. May all of our hearts together be blessed, as this one today has been, by open-hearted sharing, learning from one another, and making beautiful harmonies in this space. May we greet everyone we encounter with the same acceptance and grateful kinship until we meet again. Blessed be.